We're going to the fourth inning at Comiskey Park here in Chicago, and Detroit leading the Sox 2-0 on a 2-out, 2-run home run by Chet Lemon in the second inning. Now it'll be Lance Parrish, Larry Herndon, and the DH Rod Allen. Lance, who hit 27 home runs last year, 32 the year before, so he brings up a lot of Sox. And Bannister going to work. Good fastball.
If you keep track of pitches, with that pitch, Bannister's made 58. Morris has made only 27.
Which is a little surprising in the sense that Morris is striking people out. He has struck out 4. Usually, strikeout pitchers make a lot of pitches. There's a shot off the leg of Bannister, deflected to Cruz, who throws to Paciorek, and Bannister gestures to the Sox dugout, "I'm okay."
Didn't hit him solidly. It just kind of glanced off, and he's fine. Good physical shape, and you'll watch it here. I tell you, boy, when a big guy hits that ball back like that, 60 feet 6 inches, not very far away. There it is, off the side of the leg, and deflected right to the second baseman, Cruz.
National League score, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, scoreless at the end of 3. We have 1 out in the 4th, 2-0 in favor of Detroit, and here is Larry Herndon. Trying. 0-1. You know, we were talking about this day in baseball. Tomorrow is a big day in baseball. I don't know where all the days went. On the corner. Henry Aaron celebrates his anniversary tomorrow. It was April the 8th. When he hit home run number 715 against Al Downing and the Dodgers, and Atlanta went wild. And Herndon goes down. So now Bannister picks up his second strikeout. We've had a half a dozen in the game. So that's strikeout number 3 now for Floyd. So that gives a total of 7. And here is Rod Allen, who struck out in the second. So the 1-2 strikeout pitches in the league are heating up, and all the strikeouts, the hitters have been swinging. Two out on the 4th. Detroit 2, Sox nothing. Fastball just missed.
Both pitches around that plate.
There's the big guy so far, Chet Lemon. It's his home run, accounting for the 2-0 score. Trying to keep that fastball down to Allen, and he's gotten it too far below, and the count 2-0. I wonder about catching on a cold day like today in your hands, Joe. Take a beating?
Oh, yeah. You try to keep them warm between innings, I'll tell you that.
Foul back. I have heard of catchers who put falsies, ladies' falsies in the glove. What do you use?
I used a regular sponge.
You were very macho, I guess.
No, I didn't want to get emotionally involved. But Walker Cooper was the first guy that I saw do that.
2-1. Then it drop out of the glove and somebody say, "Is this yours?"
Let me tell you, it happened. It really did. He made a tag play at the plate, and it rolled around and settled on home plate, and the camera went in for a tight shot. The next day, he got all kinds of requests, Big Coop.
3-1 to count to Rod Allen. 2 down on the 4th, base is empty. And there's a chopper down to shortstop, and there's Scott Fletcher to get him on a good toe dance by Tom Paciorek. He really threw a sailor over there, and Paciorek did a good job. At the end of 3.5 innings, Detroit 2 and the Sox nothing, and it'll be Law, Fisk, and Baines coming up. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Jack Morris has retired 9 in a row. A perfect 3 innings while striking out 4. Here's the defensive play thus far as Gibson going to the wall to backhand a long drive off the bat of Rudy Law. Morris is pitching the kind of a game he pitched last year against the Yankees so far. In that game, it was his best of the year. He struck out 12 and didn't walk anybody.
He's a tremendous athlete. In fact, Roger Craig talking about him, he said, Kirk Gibson is probably the fastest man on our ball club, and Jack Morris would be second, and he said, I'm not so sure he wouldn't beat him in a foot race.
One surprise about Jack Morris, to follow that surprise, is that he's pitching with a short-sleeved undershirt. Everybody else in Tiger livery has the long, dark, long sleeve, but not Jack. I guess for whatever reason he cuts them off. Probably makes him uncomfortable. Rudy Law, 0 for 1, ball 1. Law with his great speed. And of course, he is a spearhead. And last year, he was one reason why the Sox scored 800 runs. He had 77 stolen bases, so if he gets aboard, he's trouble. We have a moment, so we'll pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. And wait a minute. Apparently, remember we were talking about going to your mouth? I think that's the problem.
That is.
Look at Sparky. We were saying on cold weather, and it's cold enough, normally the umpires say, okay, tell the managers the pitcher can go to his mouth. If you go to your mouth, it immediately adds 1 ball to the count. And after the first pitch to Law, evidently, Jack Morris went to his mouth, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes.
NSK Los Angeles.
3-0. And the pitch to Rudy, a strike, 3-1. Take a look. There he goes.
And he went with his left hand is what he was complaining about.
Right. 3-1 pitch in there. Well, Morris slipped his glove, wet the fingers on his left hand, and it cost him a ball on the count. It's now 3-2.
That is a dumb rule.
Let me ask you something. I'm glad it's not being a left-hander. I'm glad it wasn't a left-hander who slipped his glove and wet his right hand. Everybody would say, see, those left-handers are loonies. Well, here's a right-hander who wet his left hand. Coming up next, we're going to have the 3rd round coverage of the Dinah Shore. 1983 champion Amy Olcott defending her title against Nancy Lopez, the 81 champion Joanne Carner, and, of course, Kathy Whitworth. Buddies Charlie Jones, Lee Trevino, Jay Randolph, John Brody, they'll be all there, so stay right with us.
He's just trying to settle him down because you got to believe that Jack Morris is just a bit frosted, and I don't blame him because it really had no bearing on the game whatsoever. He went his left hand, and they called it a ball. He came back to throw 2 strikes, and I guess you could say, well, he should have better control of himself than that, but that's not the case. He doesn't run on batteries. He is human, and he is frosted.
Well, let's see about Law, and are the Tigers going to watch him? You know, in the last 2 years, Law almost invincible in the American League in stolen bases. For instance, against Milwaukee, 11 out of 11. Baltimore, 7 out of 7. The Yankees, 6 out of 6. Boston, 5 out of 5. Toronto, 9 out of 11. Now they're pitching out. However, the one club to lay down the Law is Detroit. He has stolen 6 bases, but he has been caught 5 times. The Tigers are the toughest team in corralling Rudy Law in the American League.
Parrish got the pitch out sign from the bench. Roger Craig called him, as we've mentioned so many times. But right now, Fisk really took a lot of time, took a good look at his third base coach, because many times after a pitch out is when they'll put the play on, figuring most ball clubs won't go for the double pitch out.
There he goes. And the pitch is low. The throw is high and late. The Rudy Law, who stole 77 for the Sox last year, torments Detroit one of the few times.
He got rid of the ball in good shape, but I think the difference is in that one-hand catching once again. You do give the runner an extra step or 2. Johnny Bench could do it, but Johnny Bench did a lot of things that a lot of catchers can't do.
So now Carlton Fisk trying to pick up Rudy Law. The Tigers leading 2-0 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And that's about the eyes. So Morris, who had a perfect 9 in a row, then lost a pitch going to his mouth, even though it was his left hand and not his right. Immediately lost his concentration, walks Law, who steals second. There's a strike. Boy, it's amazing, though, how quickly a great game can unravel on you.
It's a pretty good example of just one pitch, and actually not even a pitch.
2-0 Detroit. The throw to Whitaker, who wasn't anywhere near the bag. Fisk was elevated to the number 2 spot in the lineup the middle of June last year, and boy, did he react to that. All he did was hit .329 once they move him up there. 3-1. Law at second, nobody out. On deck, Harold Bain. There's the strike. 3-2. So Jack Morris, the first Tiger to win 20 since Joe Coleman. He was the first Tiger to lead the league in strikeouts since Mickey Lolich. 3-2. Foul back. If you joined us a little late, back in the second inning, Lance Parrish opened up with a walk, and 2 outs later, Chuck Lemon hit 1 out. So a full count to Carlton Fisk. Nobody out. Law at second. And he walked him. And the Sox are very much alive. First and second, nobody out, and now the big boys, Baines, Luzinski, and Kittle. Sparky, who seems so incensed over the call, and I bet you he'll be stewing in his juices now if this inning starts to get away on Morris.
Can't hardly blame him.
Baines, he struck out in the first inning. Rudy Law at second, Carlton Fisk at first, nobody out in the fourth. 2-0 Detroit. Ball 1. Garbe, Whitaker, Trammell, and Brookins with Parrish behind the plate. Herndon, Lemon, and Gibson in the outfield. And of course, Detroit has 3 Gold Glovers out there. Trammell, the shortstop, Whitaker, the second baseman, and Parrish, the catcher. 1-0. Going to try and hit that thing in the lake. Baines 2 years ago hit 3 home runs versus Detroit at Comiskey. That was in 1 game too.
You just saw Morris go to his mound again, but this time he was off the dirt part of the mound. You can do that. It's a restricted area, I guess.
You know, I never thought you'd be penalized for using your non-pitching hand. 1-1. And there's a throwback, not in time. 2-1.
That's a pretty good tip-off on LaRusse's thinking if indeed Baines was bunting, and he looked like he was going to bunt that ball, because Tony says they play situation baseball, and with the wind blowing here, he can't wait for the big inning, the home run. He's going to try to tie it up with the bunt. And that play by Parrish was a good one, because if nothing else, you shorten up Rudy Law's lead at second base, give your outfielders a chance to throw him out at the plate.
Alan Trammell trying to do a good job of bird-dogging Law, cut down his lead. Whitaker can't do very much with a left-hand hitter up there. 2-1. Ball 3. And now, all on that 1 count that changed it from 2-0 to 3-0 to Rudy Law. Morris walked Law, he has walked Fisk, and he is 3-1 to Harold Baines.
And I'd be willing to bet the house that he won't be bunting on 3-1.
The Law at second, Fisk at first, nobody out. Right. Fastball that ran on the outside corner. Good movement on that pitch, and the count 3-2.
Do you run him or do you hold him now? What do you do now?
Down 2-0, Baines left-hand hitter. I think I'd keep him there. I got to have Luzinski come up with a bunch on the bases.
I agree with you.
And they're not going. And there's ball 4. So Jack Morris has come apart in the sense he has walked the bases full. He is looking to Sparky saying, shall I wind up or stretch? And we'll see the result of that in a moment.
bullpen's going to get busy. We saw Roger Craig go to the phone. It looks like a breaking ball that he tries on the 3-2 pitch, and it is almost got past Parrish. He got in front of it nicely, though. That was a tough pitch to handle.
Here comes the butter and egg man against Jack Morris. You know, Morris in the first 3 innings made only 27 pitches. He's made 18 pitches in the 4th inning alone. Fastball. Strike 1. Lazinski flied to center in the 2nd inning. So the table set for the big guy. Rudy Law at 3rd, Carlton Fisk at 2nd, Harold Baines at 1st. Check swing, hit back to Morris, goes to Parrish, over to Garbe, double play.
That was just a perfect play for the Tigers because he tries to check his swing. He's back on his heels. Can he get out of the box and doesn't have speed to begin with? And it was a question of just getting the ball to Parrish, and it's an easy double play. And now Roger Craig wants to talk to Jack Morris.
Yeah, first base open. Ron Kittle will be the batter, and Tom Paciorek to follow. Craig counseling Morris a bit. He also might have spotted something that Jack was doing to get a little wild, and they really smoothed his feathers down now.
Kittle is one of those hitters that really, it doesn't make any difference who's behind him because he is known as a hacker. You throw that ball, he's going to be swinging. He doesn't get cheated out of his swings.
Here's Ron Kittle, the left fielder with runners at 2nd and 3rd, and of course they represent the tying run. Carlton Fisk at 3rd, Harold Baines at 2nd. Got the inside corner for a strike, 0-1. Now he's got him 0-2. One thing that Kittle did not like about last year, he led the American League in one department. 150 strikeouts. 0-2. Of course, I love one of the quotes he had about being struck out. He said, hey, there's probably 100 guys selling cars back home who struck me out 4 times in a game.
He also said he was going for the Rookie of the Year award and the Cy Young award with all those strikeouts. That was quite a play by Lance Parrish. Don't want to minimize it, and I know I stick up for the catchers a lot, but that's the kind of play that never shows up in the box score. He had 2 quick strikes on him. He bounced the curveball, and Parrish made sure that he blocked the ball, and that gives a pitcher a lot of confidence. He's not afraid to throw that low pitch if he knows he's got a guy back there to block it.
1-2, the count to Ron Kittle with 2 out, runners at 2nd and 3rd.
Another one.
Down in there again, 2-2 the count. Doug Baer begins to loosen up in the Tiger bullpen.
Here's a replay on it, and Parrish really gets in front of it, and that's a lot to get in front, but he was right there, and he's setting him up for this pitch. Here's the pitch he wants it to happen, the 2-2 pitch.
And there's Baer. 2-2. Fastball, and he challenged him in on the hands. Still 2-2. Last year, Kittle had one of those long nights. Dave Righetti struck him out 4 times in a game. Did you ever strike out 4 times in a game?
I'm not trying to be funny or anything,
no.
but no, I didn't.
Probably wouldn't let you bat the 4th time.
You said that.
2-2. 2-0 Detroit, bottom of the 4th. Just did he swing? No swing, says McClellan. So the first base umpire, Tim McClellan, saying no. 3-2 to Ron Kittle.
What do you think? Watch it. I don't think he went around.
First base open, and they're pitching to Kittle. They had 100 RBIs last year. 3-2. Fastball fouled away. And that stung a little bit. Kittle wringing that left hand.
Kittle has more power than Paciorek, but you got to believe that Paciorek, the on-deck hitter, is a better hitter. And if you're going to go get somebody, this would be the guy because his strike zone would be just a little bit bigger than Paciorek's.
Full count. Baines at 2nd, Fisk at 3rd. Fastball fouled away. It's 2-0 Detroit. on a 2-run home run in the second inning by Chet Lemon. The Sox are still looking for their first hit. Morris had retired 9 in a row, then walked 3 in a row in the fourth, and got Lazinski to hit into a double play. 3-2 to Kittle. Got him. So Morris makes a lot of pitches and then relies on his favorite weapon, the strikeout. The Sox lead 2. It's 2-0 Detroit at the end of 4. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Comiskey Park, Chicago. Going way back to 1910 when they opened it up, and it's a great way to begin 1984. Good ball game. The Tigers and the Sox, premier pitching, Jack Morris and Floyd Bannister. And this telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. I'm Vin Scully along with Joe Garagiola, and it'll be Chet Lemon followed by Kurt Gibson and then Tom Brookins in the 5th. Floyd Bannister allowing the home run to Lemon. He also allowed a leadoff single to Whitaker. Floyd has struck out 3, has not walked a batter. Here is Lemon, who hit it out in the second inning. Into the 5th we go. 1-0. When the White Sox won by 20 and won 99 games, they literally dismantled the Western Division. Against the East, however, they struggled. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Probably you would not get an argument for those who watch the American League day after day to say the American League East might be the best division of all 4 in the big leagues. Maybe. 2-0. Shot foul, and that spun Gramis around, and the count 2-1.
I would agree to that.
You know, when you think about it. Yeah. And a team that everyone is talking about and wants to take a good look at this year would be Toronto. Two and one, the count of Chet Lemon. Fastball, and that's hooked into the left field corner for a base hit. Kittle over to cut it off, and can't. By the time he knocks it into foul territory, Lemon is at second base with a double.
There was no doubt about it. He really hit that ball hard. Kittle tries to cut it off and kind of kicks it around, but there was no chance to hold Lemon to a single.
So Chet Lemon opens up with a bullet into the corner for a double, and of course that's particularly painful here. Lemon played for the White Sox from 1975 through 1981. And among other things, ironically, he hit the 5,000th home run in White Sox history. And would you believe he hit it against Detroit? Strike to Kirk Gibson. Gibby walked in the second inning. Detroit 2 runs, 3 hits. White Sox no runs, no hits.
Trying to get a ball that he can pull, at least get the ground ball. But Bannister knows that, and he just hit that outside corner and just made 2 good pitches.
Gibson hit 15 home runs last year, but only 1 against a left-hander. Sliced foul out of play. The left-hander who surrendered the home run, Dave Righetti. 1-2 the count to Kirk Gibson. We're in the top of the fifth. Detroit 2 on Chet Lemon's 2-run home run, and the White Sox nothing. Down and away, 1-2. The Sox with an infield of Paciorek and Cruz, Fletcher and Vance Law, an outfield of Kittle, Rudy Law and Harold Baines, Carlton Fisk behind the plate, and the brilliant young left-hander Floyd Bannister on the hill. 1-2. Spun it, and it's hit foul down the left field line and back into the lower deck. Kind of a roundhouse curveball, and Gibson just trying to protect the plate.
That's one of those pitches you hope that you catch him by surprise and they take it, but he was able to just get enough of it to foul it off. Bannister's standing the outside part of that plate. He doesn't want to try to jam him to where he hits the little ground ball to the right side and they pick up a base with an out.
They're playing him away. There's a huge gap in right center field. And he pulled it anyway, and it goes by Paciorek and down the line. Lemon will score, and into second base goes Gibson as he drilled it right by Paciorek. I've got to believe that was a mistake. With the center fielder playing way over in left center, he gave him a ball he could pull with a 1-2 count. It'll go as a base hit, of course, a double.
There was no doubt that he was going to second base all the way. As soon as he left the batter's box, he had second base on his mind. Watch the pitch. It looked like it was a little bit to the outside part of the plate, but it looked like right down the middle. On the replay, it was right down the middle. It cost him because now Gibson's on at second base, nobody out, and Brookins has to hit that ground ball to the right side. This is what he's in the lineup for.
Brookins hit into a force play in the second inning, and he's going to bunt, and it's out in front of the plate. Fisk will throw him out to Paciorek. So on the sacrifice, Brookins gets Gibson to third. It is 3-0 in favor of the Tigers, and the leadoff man Lou Whitaker coming up. Now with a runner at third, Whitaker single fly to left. The Sox bring the infield up on the left side. They also bring up Paciorek. Only Cruz is about halfway, the second baseman. The Sox get a right-hander up in the bullpen. It is 3-0 Detroit. Ground ball down to Cruz. He'll go to the plate to Fisk. He didn't get the tag. The run is in.
Cruz couldn't get enough on that throw. He kind of flipped it underhanded, and Gibson was off with the crack of the bat. Watch the throw. He flips it underhand, sails high, and Gibson slides in there.
Boy, does he run well.
And runs hard. He runs hard. That's one of those plays that when you're on third base, as soon as the ball is hit, you head for home plate. Cruz knew that, and you can see he beat the tag.
Fisk tried to block him with his left foot, but the foot was more or less on home plate as opposed to up the line where he could have hooked him. So Trammell the batter, Whitaker at first. It's a 2-run fifth inning, and Detroit leading 4-0. And there he goes on a pitch out. Fisk down to his shortstop, Fletcher. They got him. So Carlton Fisk shoots down Lou Whitaker.
And he had a good throw with the pitch out. Sometimes you get a bad one. That was nice. Room service high, and the throw is right there. Whitaker easy out.
Tough tag, though, for Fletcher. He's got to get a hand.
Doesn't have much of a target when they come in head first like that. But if you got that ball in time, you usually get the job done.
Trammell hit into a double play and lined out to left. 0 for 2. Strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Detroit 4 runs, 4 hits. The White Sox no runs, no hits. We're in the 5th inning. 2-1.
You got to give Gibson a lot of credit this inning because his speed got him to second. He was thinking double as soon as he hit the ball. He moves over to third on the bunt, and as soon as the ball is hit by Whitaker, in he comes. So he kind of manufactured that run.
Off speed, missing. So Bannister now in a hole, 3-1. The fellow they call the Gray Flamingo, Tom Brennan, is throwing in the Sox bullpen. And once you see him pitch, you'll never forget him. There's a hot one at third, and staying with it is Vance Law to throw him out. So Trammell bangs to third. That'll do it for Detroit, but not before they pick up 2 runs on back-to-back doubles. And at the end of 4 1/2, Tigers 4, White Sox nothing. Boy, Len, I can't believe that. 4 errors. You know, since they first started the Gold Glove Award, guess what team has won the most of any team in the big leagues? Baltimore. High foul off to the right and out of play on the count of 1-1. We can duck in a score of our own. Texas leading the Yankees 1-0 at the end of an inning. Tom Paciorek, Vance Law, and Scott Fletcher. Tommy struck out in the second, 0 for 1. Look out. 1-1. Two and 1 to count. We saw Jack Morris going to his mount, but he was on the grass. He retired 9 in a row, walked 3 in a row, got Lozinski on a check swing double play, and struck out Kittle. Now he's in the 5th inning working on Paciorek. Busted bat ground ball to third. Tom Brookins across to Garbe. Thing was in on the hands. 1 down. Vance Law will be coming up. Scott Fletcher to follow here in the 5th inning. Tigers 4 runs, 4 hits. The White Sox no runs, no hits. Ball 1, 1-0. Next Saturday, Joe and I will be at Yankee Stadium in New York. There'll be tremendous drama and theater if all things go accordingly. It will be Tom Seaver returning to New York in a White Sox uniform, going up against the New York Yankees.
I bet even old George will be at the ballpark that day.
I think you'll find a way. 2-0 to Vance Law. In there. 2-1. Back into the screen. 2-2. Vance came to the Chicago White Sox in a deal with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Ross Baumgarten, Claude Edge went over to Pittsburgh. 2-2. Fastball fouled away. Then we see John Tudor, talking about Pittsburgh. John Tudor, the left-hander from Boston, who was traded to Pittsburgh for Mike Easler. Well, Easler had a pinch-hit 2-run home run in his debut for Boston to beat the Angels, and Tudor had a no-hitter for a while. Last night it went on to beat the Dodgers, so they are welcomed in their respective leagues. 2-2. Ball 3. On deck, waiting his turn, Scott Fletcher, the shortstop. And it's high. That's 4 walks given up for Jack Morris, who was sailing along until the 4th inning when he walked the bases full. Though in balancing his books, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. 1 out, and the batter Scott Fletcher, who grounded to third. I would think, Joe, one of the problems on a cold day like this for the pitcher, you can get warm, but how do you stay loose when you go in the dugout?
Well, about the way we're doing it, with jackets and going inside and whatever.
Right. I didn't see any heaters of any kind in either dugout, but you can see gloves and almost football jackets to try and stay warm.
Sometimes they have those hand warmers like the duck hunters use.
0-1, the count of Scott Fletcher. 1-1. They told us it was 50 degrees at the start of the game. I have a feeling it's colder, and it might be reflected in Morris's problems. The first 3 innings, he made 27 pitches. He made 29 when he went wild in the 4th inning. And he's struggling now. Well, the only way he's keeping warm is making a lot of pitches. High pop fly on the infield. Lou Whitaker dancing around, the wind playing with it. 2 down. You can check the flags here, but it's more than just coming in. They have changed a little bit. It is more and more coming off the lake and getting colder.
And you also got a break between the scoreboard and the stands, and then the lower stands, you got an opening so it comes in there. It swirls. The flags will tell you something. There's the break that I'm talking about. And as you look at the opening down in the lower stands, that's a factor because that wind comes whistling through. So there are many factors in this ballpark. You just have to be on your toes and just check everything at all times.
They're not holding Van's Law, and Cruz rolls it to Garvey, so he was off the bag and he had an easy opportunity to pick it up. No runs, no hits, a man left at the end of 5. It's 4-0 Detroit. Coming up, Barbaro Garvey, Lance Parrish, and Larry Herndon. Boy, that is a tough break. Bobby Meacham from the big leagues to Double-A on 1 error.
Got to be a little more to it than that, I would hope.
The first thing that Ralph Haug did to Jackie Gutierrez, who threw one away against the Angels, was to call him in and say, hey, there's 162. Don't bat an eye. So one manager says, don't worry. The other one says, see you later. Barbaro Garvey on a strike, 0-1. Garvey struck out in the first inning, flied to right in the 3rd. He can play first, third, or left field, and Sparky likes to play him in that order. No, says Durwood Merrill, and the count 1-1. For a Cuban, I would think this is bitter cold. Oh. Two and 1 to count to Garvey here in the 6th inning. Floyd Bannister gave up a 2-run home run to Lemon, and then Lemon's double in the 5th inning led to another 2. Out away. So Bannister would be pitching almost as well as Jack Morris, except for Chet Lemon. And he's down 4-0. Given Garvey just about everything he has to go 3-2. The Tigers will go home after this weekend series. They open up with Texas at Tiger Stadium Tuesday. Ground ball to the right side, and that's Julio Cruz to get him. 1 away.
I tell you, you're not going to hit a ball through that infield today on the ground because it is really a slow infield. It's heavy. That ball that Gibson hit was a shot.
The batter now is Lance Parrish, who walked, and then in the 4th inning hit a shot off the leg of Bannister. It was deflected to Cruz, who threw him out. So Lance is 0 for 1. He did score. He was aboard when Chet Lemon hit it out. Bush, needless to say, is not superstitious. He wears number 13. We have a reason for bringing that up, because we are in the business of telling you what's going on here and not getting cute with superstitions. So the big story, really, with Detroit leading 4-0, is the fact that Jack Morris has not allowed a hit through 5 innings, and it's going to start to build. There's a shot, short hop, backhanded by Law. Throws him out. Oh, what a big league play by Vance Law.
Oh, he really made that play look easy, too. Watch his reflexes. He's ready to go, backhands it. He's got the short hop. Up he comes, finds his man, and across the diamond it goes. Big league play it was, man.
A marvel at people who have reflexes. Look at him do the Toulouse-Lautrec, one knee and then the other. It's so close to the plate, still able to come up with it. And with 2 down, here's Larry Herndon. Herndon flied out, struck out 0 for 2. Fouled away. Did you have any superstitions when you played? I mean, you yourself?
No, I really didn't. Even as a broadcaster, I can never understand why you were not supposed to say a guy had a no-hitter, because
Nonsense.
everybody knows that the pitcher's got it going, including the pitcher most of the time, because if he doesn't know, the opposing team will tell him.
Sure. 0-1. 1-1.
Did you have any, or do you?
Oh, no. No.
I think that one of the great superstitions, Greenberg had one. He said he always liked to touch every base when he hit a home run.
That's the best one.
That's a great one.
There, you just saw those smoke rings up on the board. Sox 0-0-0. Just to look ahead, when the Sox hit in the bottom of the 6th, they have Rudy Law, Carlin Fisk, and Harold Baines. Meanwhile, with 2 out on the top of the 6th, it is 4-0 Detroit. Herndon with the count 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Herndon, since he came over to from the National League, has done a great job. Meanwhile, talking about a great job, there's Jack Morris sitting between Roger Craig on his left, Lance Parrish, his catcher, on the right. Ground ball to the right side. Cruz is there. Throws a little sinker to Pashorek. And the Tigers are gone 1-2-3. And at the end of 5.5 innings, Detroit, 4 runs, 4 hits. And the White Sox, no runs, no hits, no errors. Well, we're going to the bottom of the 6th inning here in Comiskey Park. And a dandy shaping up now. 4-0 Detroit. And it'll be Rudy Law, followed by Carlin Fisk, and then Harold Baines to see if they can finally break through against Jack Morris. Behind Morris, you have Garbe, Whitaker, Trammell, and Brookins, Herndon, Lemon, and Gibson. Parrish behind the plate. Law robbed of a hit leading off on a good catch by Kirk Gibson and walked in the 4th inning. Ball 1. Tommy Brookins playing 2 steps in on the grass at 3rd, and Garbe has shortened up at 1st. 1-0. Good breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. At the end of 5 innings, the Phillies are leading Cincinnati 3-1. Split-fingered fastball that has been giving the White Sox fits today. The bottom just drops out of it. And the count 1-2. 20-game winner, Jack Morris. One and 2. Fastball got him looking. So Rudy Law down on strikes. That's a half a dozen strikeouts for Jack Morris. Morris last year in May had a record of 3-5. Boy, did he turn the ship around. From then on, he was 17-8. And he is a workhorse. He worked over 290 innings last year. Here's Pudge. Carlton Fisk struck out and walked. 0 for 1. Outfield fanned out straight away. Breaking ball, pop foul behind the plate. Lance Parrish coming back to the base of the screen. No play. You have to have pretty good memory to go that far back. And as we mentioned, Virgil Trucks had no-hitters. He had 2 of them in 1952, and then the first no-hitter by a Tiger pitcher was George Mullen in 1912. Jack Morris had a long way to go, and Tony La Russa trying to break the spell somehow. Strike 1 pitch. 1-1. One ball, 1 strike to count to Fisk. Harold Baines on deck. Tigers 4, Sox nothing. Bottom of the 6th inning. Fastball stayed inside. 2-1. Morris has walked 4, struck out 6. Jack last year beat the Sox twice with a 6-hitter and a 5-hitter, doing it on back-to-back starts in August. Two and 1. Fastball bunted up along third. You're going to let it roll foul. And they count 2-2.
I think Brookins was ready for it, though, Vin. It'd have been a close play, but he comes charging hard.
All fair in love and war and in attempts to break up no-hitters. I saw Gus Bell break up I think it was Carl Erskine pitching a no-hitter with a perfect bunt in the 8th inning.
A lot of people get upset at that, but I see nothing wrong with
No.
it. Any way to get on.
Yeah. 2-2. One away. Infield back, outfield fanned out straight away. Breaking ball, a little dipper, maybe a slider got him. So Fisk strikes out, and that's 7 strikeouts for Jack Morris. Morris's high last year, he had a dozen strikeouts.
Here's a look at that strikeout pitch. He got a little bit higher, I think, than he wanted it.
So the batter now is Harold Baines, who struck out and walked 0 for 1. Boy, they're hacking up there. Nobody's eyeballing anything.
Well, they're not hoping they hit the ball. They're really cutting loose. They're hacking is right. I think that Baines is the toughest out in this Chicago White Sox lineup.
Baines up there hitting .222. Held up, 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 out in the 6th inning. Detroit 4, White Sox nothing. And of course the big story building from here on in. No hits for the Sox. On deck, Greg Luzinski. Good pitch, 1 and 2.
Now's the time to throw. There's Luzinski. Now's the time to throw that split finger thing that was really rolling off the table. Give it that little extra.
The Bull had 1 shot with the bases loaded, and he checked swing back to the mound and hit into a double play. 1 and 2. Fastball hit slowly to third. Brookins charging, picks it up, goes, gets him. And we've got 6 innings where Jack Morris has not allowed a hit. So at the end of 6, Detroit 4, Sox nothing. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Well, let's get back to the game now. And this is the fellow they call the Gray Flamingo. Now, you got to watch his left leg. He will just freeze for a moment. Watch this, right there. Is that something? Breaking ball strike. I've never seen anybody with that kind of a delivery.
His whole delivery now, he's like he's pitching off the stress. Now watch him back off. Watch his left foot step back, and then up, stop, and throw.
Jammed him, fouled it back as Allen fouls it off. For Tom Brennan, of course, as we take a look at his delivery, he's born here in Chicago. Watch this. That's something.
It's a variation of the great Satchel Paige's hesitation pitch, and they've argued that they protested it, that it's illegal, it's this, that, and the other thing, and he doesn't do it for any other reason except to get the batter out. That is his natural delivery, and it's been effective for him.
Breaking ball takes care of Rod Allen, and Fisk tags him for the out. One away. So Tom Brennan strikes out his man. The book on Floyd Bannister, he went 6 innings, allowed 4 runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. But the big man was Chet Lemon. He could not get Lemon, and Lemon wrecked Bannister. Lemon hit a 2-run home run in the 2nd inning, and then doubled to begin a 2-run 5th inning. Slider for a strike. Brennan, by the way, got that nickname, the Gray Flamingo, in Latin America. Lemon now will test him. All breaking balls. He hasn't thrown a fastball yet. He came out of the Cleveland organization.
He's no spring chicken. He's been around.
Yeah, he's 31. There's the first fastball we've seen, and they check no swing at first as Tim McClellan. And the count 2-1. With Detroit hitting, I don't mean anticlimactic, but I think right now with a 4-0 ball game, you get so at this stage in the 7th inning where you can't wait for the White Sox to come up and hit or not hit, as the case may be. Fastball fouled away. So just to tell you, when the White Sox come up in the 7th inning and try to break through against Jack Morris' no-hit attempt, they'll have Greg Luzinski, Ron Kittle, and Tom Paciorek.
You really have to root for a guy like Brennan, who bounces around and then figures out a way. And I'm sure he took a lot of razzing for it, but he found a way to get to the big way.
Breaking ball got him looking. We've seen him throw 1 fastball. And with breaking balls, he has struck out Allen and Lemon. And the batter now is Kirk Gibson. Yeah, he has, Joe. He's been pitching professionally since '74. And in looking over his numbers, he never really did anything outstanding. He was 9-3 at Tacoma a few years ago. That's about it. Gibson has walked and doubled. Drove in a run, scored a run.
Gives a lot of credit to his wife, who was a softball pitcher, and she'd go to spring training and all that, and she'd follow him right along and join the local softball team. So it's a sports family.
There's a slow breaking ball that missed. 2-0 the count.
Gray Flamingo.
2-0 to Gibson. Show him a fastball, but that's not his out pitch. Ball 3. Detroit 4, White Sox nothing. In there. 3-1. Be interesting if Detroit gets a man on base to watch that delivery, and how whether a base runner can somehow take advantage of that leg that seems to hang in midair. And he missed to walk in. So with 2 down, a walk to Gibson, and Brookins coming up. Brookins hit into a force play and sacrificed 0 for 1. There is a rhythm to pitching. There is a rhythm to hitting. Sometimes you would think when a pitcher has such a deliberate, rhythmical beat to his delivery, that would make it easier for the hitter.
Oh, it would and wouldn't. I mean, because he is varying a little bit, I'm sure.
Let's watch Gibson now. We've got that man on. Oh, he came over there in a hurry.
Sparky's got to gamble here because you got your 9th place hitter up. You don't want to lead off with him, but if he wants to find out if he can run on this guy, this would be a good time to do it.
Paciorek holding a corner. Be very It's that left leg now. No, he doesn't use it at all. Pitch inside. Okay, well, that's answered. By the way, Minnesota punching holes in Baltimore. It is now 14-2 Minnesota, which brings up a poignant human interest story of Minnesota. Sure hope that kid Jim Eisenreich does well.
I sure hope he does, too. I'm really pulling for that kid. He can do it all.
1-0 to Tommy Brookins.
He didn't do it on that last pitch. I wonder if that's his style.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't you keep waiting for him to stop there now?
That's right. Gibson trying to explore that move. Foul. 1-1 to Tommy Brookins with 2 out, top of the 7th inning. Detroit 4 and the White Sox nothing. Tom Brennan in relief of Floyd Bannister. One and one, the count to Tom Brookins. Well, for all you folks who were watching Minnesota knock Baltimore hither, thither, and yon, welcome to our game. And the big man is Jack Morris, who has a no-hitter through 6 innings. The Tigers leading 4-0, and Tom Brennan in relief of Floyd Bannister. And he is after Gibson, but he got back. And had he slid back, he would have been out. But he went back with a hand.
That ball looked like he was there ahead of him. Let's see what it looks like on the replay. He had him leaning. Ball was there, and he got over the glove. That was it. Gibson made that play by putting his hand over the glove.
1-1 to Tom Brookins. Well, if they sent Gibson just to explore Brennan's move, they are sure turning the pages on him now.
I tell you, Brennan is winning as we look at Jack Morris, who's got that no-hitter going.
1-1 to Tom Brookins. A breaking ball lifted to left field. Kittle is right there, and that will be that. No runs, no hits, a man left. Can Jack Morris do it? We'll find out in a moment. But right now, here's another edition of the 7th inning stretch. Well, the line score telling you Detroit leading Chicago 4-0. The White Sox still looking for their first hit. If you weren't with us in the 4th inning, Jack Morris went to his mouth with his left hand. He had slipped the glove, went to his mouth with his left hand, and a ball was automatically charged against the count by Derwood Merrill. Whether that upsetted Morris or no, nevertheless, he turned around and walked 3 in a row. And with nobody out and the bases loaded, Luzinski on a check swing hit back to Morris, who started the double play at the plate. And then Kittle struck out. Now the same Luzinski coming up here in the 7th inning. Greg flied to center and then hit into that check swing double play. The Bull hitting 111. It looks like a picket fence up on the scoreboard. Fastball to show it to him, 1-0. Jack Morris, who had a one-hitter in his career against Minnesota. 1-0. In there. That one-hitter at Minnesota was back in 1980. One and one to Luzinski. Sox scored twice in the second. Detroit scored twice in the second on a 2-run home run by Chet Lemon. And Detroit scored 2 more in the 5th. And now we're in the 7th. Fastball. 2-2. That didn't look like that split-fingered fastball, but that was sinking pretty rapidly.
That could have been that hard slider that they always talk about with him.
Well, we have now welcomed all who were doing other things and watching other moments, and hopefully to a great moment at Comiskey Park. There's ball 3. And for those of you who are joining us, we're in the bottom of the 7th. Detroit leading the White Sox 4-0, and Jack Morris has not allowed a hit through 6 innings. And he has Luzinski, Kittle, and Pashori. And he walks the bull. That's 5 walks to go with his 7 strikeouts, and the battle will be Ron Kittle. Morris has had one man throw back of him in that wild 4th inning. Doug Baer got up. Kittle popped up in the 2nd inning, and then when Kittle came up in the 4th, at the time, the tying runs were at 2nd and 3rd and 2 out, and Morris struck him out. High fly ball into right field. Gibson is there, the wind blowing it. 1 away. By the way, and especially now, we should look over at first base, because Dave Bergman is now at first, taking over for Garbe. And of course, Bergman, recently acquired by Detroit, is one of the better fielding first basemen in the game today. So Bergman, and that's tough. You talk about a tough role coming off the bench on a cold day to play defense and to be backing up a guy working on a no-hitter. And Bergman's got the pressure. Did he swing? Yes. They didn't have to look at McClellan. Durwood Merrill, the plate umpire, wound up and indicated. Strike 1. So Jack Morris with the count 0-1 to Pashoric. Tom struck out, grounded out. And lined at Bergman. Goes to the bag, too late. Well, they put him in there for just that, and Dave was there to grab it.
Didn't have a chance, Vin, but he was playing behind the runner Luzinski, because Luzinski no speed at all, and as you can see, not even much of a lead because he couldn't be doubled off at first base. So Sparky's defensive move paid off. The fact that he also had him behind the base runner was a factor.
Now Greg Walker is going to come in to hit. Walker will bat for Vance Law.
Parrish out talking to Jack Morris. They just want to get together as to how they're going to pitch to Walker. Just make sure they are together and no surprises, no trick pitches, and keep doing what you're doing.
By the way, we have a moment to give you the technical workings behind our network telecast. The Minnesota-Baltimore network, that portion watching the Twins and the Orioles, they left. They have been with us for a while. They will go back to their game, and hopefully we'll be back here for whatever drama we will have. And meanwhile, now here is Walker. Ball 1. Greg led the American League with 15 pinch hit RBIs last year. They wondered here yesterday, Tony La Russa wondered why Sparky Anderson did not make what he thought was the ordinary move. And one reason that Anderson managed the way he did yesterday was to make sure Walker would not get in the game. There isn't much he can do about it now, of course. But Walker is a dandy. Two out in the 7th, 4-0 Detroit. So Jack Morris, who has had 2 balls really hit, a long out by Rudy Law that was flagged by Kirk Gibson in front of the bullpen windows in right field, and then that bullet off Pashorik's bat that was speared by Dave Bergman. 1-2. Little Nubber wide of first. Bergman fields, flips to Morris in time, and we got it going now. Jack Morris has not allowed a hit for 7 innings, And at the end of 7 in Comiskey Park, Detroit 4, White Sox nothing. Well, what a great way for all of us at NBC Sports to open up 1984 baseball season, seeing whether Jack Morris can pitch a no-hitter or not.
And then next week, if everything goes right, we'll have Tom Seaver going back to New York, and I think my nose won't be quite as red next week.
I hope you make your plans to be with us, but let's not pitch a pitch of this one. As we go to the 8th inning, 4-0 Detroit. Tim Hewlett will now take over at third base after Walker batted for Law. Strike to Whitaker. There's Hewlett. Ground ball to the right side. Julio Cruz over to Pashorek. 1 away. 1 down in the 8th. Don't forget the third round coverage of the Dinah Shore with 83 champion Amy Alcott against Nancy Lopez and Joanne Carner, and our buddies Charlie Jones, Lee Trevino, Jay Randolph, John Brody, along with Kathy Whitworth, telling you the story. That'll be right after baseball. Here's Alan Trammell, hit into a double play, lined out to left, grounded to third. Trammell is 0 for 3, hitting .400. Slider, ball 1.
Texas 5-0 over the Yankees.
One ball, no strikes. Ball 2. Is that a final, Joe?
No.
And in the dugout, all he can do is sit and wait. Jack Morris. It's got to be building up in there. Fastball for a strike, 2-1. And to think ahead when the White Sox bat in the 8th inning. They are due to send up Scott Fletcher, Julio Cruz, and Rudy Law. Fastball hit and by Cruz. I think there are those who might feel he should have been in front of that ball. He tried to short hop it from the side, and it went through.
I'd give him an error myself. I thought he should have had that ball.
Yeah, he played it a little like the Matador with the Olay.
That's what he did. How do you do?
And they have not made any indication as yet as to how it'll be ruled. Meanwhile, the batter now is Dave Bergman. And it's going to go as a base hit. And the crowd hates it, and you can hear them react in the background. Cruz has had, some reputation of being a hot dog, and I think when you see him try to short hop a ball from the side like that, and he doesn't do it, why, the fans are going to get on him. What they used to say when you played, put a little mustard on him.
That's right. Get the big mustard jar out and a big brush and paint him.
Bergman could prove to be a very valuable asset to Detroit. A very, very good fielder, maybe as good as there is in either league. And a timely hitter. And the runner goes, Trammell, and the throw on a bounce, cuts through into center field, backed up, however, by Rudy Law. And so Trammell holds at second base.
I don't think Fisk anticipated the play at all. He wasn't in position to make that throw, and I think was surprised by it. He certainly was screened by Bergman, the left-hand batter, but watch Fisk now as he makes the play. He didn't really jump into action until it was a bit too late.
Trammell, who stole 30 last year to lead the Tigers, and Sparky was saying he's going to steal 50 this year. Well, he's on his way to doing it. For Trammell, he now has 3 stolen bases. This is the 4th game. Fouled away by Bergman.
The numbers that Sparky laid out on Trammell, to me, were amazing. 18 home runs, 60 RBIs, 50 stolen bases, and hit over 280. That's what he's hoping for. He said that he can do it.
You know, we were showing you before Alan Trammell and his figures compared to Robin Yount. Another interesting comparison is Trammell and Whitaker, his teammate. That's on the corner. Though Bergman eyeballing that one and pays a strike, and down he goes. So Brennan has struck out 3 in relief in an inning and 2/3, and the batter will be Lance Parrish. Give you an idea, last year Trammell hit 319, Whitaker hit 320. And going into the season, Whitaker is hitting 282 lifetime to Trammell 280. And they are so close. Marvelous combination. Alan Trammell at second base, waiting to be picked up with 2 out in the 8th inning. 4-0 Detroit. And to repeat, Scott Fletcher, Julio Cruz, Rudy Law due up in the bottom of the 8th to see if they can break through against Jack Morris. Parrish walked in the 2nd inning, grounded out in the 4th, and again in the 6th. In the 6th inning, Vance Law made a fine play to get him. 2-0. Sinker hit to the hole, backhanded there at shortstop by Fletcher. The throw is just in time. Had it not been in time, Trammell would have scored from second base. So it's a good play by Pashorek to come up with that throw, or another run is in. No runs, 1 hit, a man left. At the end of 7 1/2, 4-0 Detroit. We have a lot of drama building up in the bottom of the 8th inning as Jack Morris is 6 outs away from a no-hitter.
Here's where he really helped himself. Bergman comes up with it, and being a good athlete that he is, Morris covered, and they get Vance Law. That ended the 7th inning. He's working on a no-hitter, and he's got a tough hitter coming up, Ben.
Oh, well, now listen to this. A year ago, April the 15th, Milt Wilcox had a perfect game with 2 out in the bottom of the 9th inning here at Comiskey Park, and Jerry Hairston came off the bench and broke it up with a base hit. Last year, Hairston had 2 pinch hit home runs, and as you can see, one of them against Jack Morris. So Jerry Hairston trying to break it up, trying to get the White Sox back in the game. Detroit leading 4-0. Bergman, Whitaker, Trammell, Brookins, Herndon, Lemon, Gibson, Parrish behind the plate. And each man, of course, hoping to get a jump, hoping to make the play to keep it alive. And Jack Morris ready to work in the bottom of the 8th. Strike. The 2-3 balls that were really hit. Law's drive to deep right caught by Gibson. The shot by Pashorek that was flagged by Bergman. And a good play by Brookins to get Baines in the 6th inning. That's it. The others, routine outs. Morris has struck out 7 and walked 5.
He's pretty cool. He said, whenever you're ready, I'm ready.
Ground ball, backhanded by Bergman to Morris. Boy, I told you he's a dandy. And he just came in the game and he has saved Morris Bacon again.
That's a tough play, and he gets in front of it. He backhanded it, but that leg was right there. He would have been able to knock it down. And again, Morris, the good athlete, gets over there. Look at the determination on his face. He's going to get there in plenty of time if he's going to have a play, and he did, and there's one away.
And so Jack Morris is 5 outs away. And here is Julio Cruz, who struck out and grounded out. 0 for 2. There tougher job in baseball than coming in the late innings for defensive purposes. I think it's even tougher than pinch hitting because they expect you to field well. Comebacker to Morris, to Bergman, and he has 4 outs to go. Rudy Law will be the batter. Jack Morris, 4 outs away from a no-hitter with 2 out in the 8th inning, leading 4-0. Rudy Law hit the ball as hard as anybody, and that was leading off when he sent Gibson to the wall for his long out in the 1st inning. Rudy fly deep to right, walked and struck out. Fastball hit to Bergman. Dave feeding Morris, and Jack Morris is 3 outs away. And even the White Sox fans now are responding and reacting, and they are on their feet. At the end of 8, 4-0 Detroit, and Jack Morris. Jack Morris. Morris trying to join some rather distinguished people, and Dave Bergman saved his bacon in the 8th inning with this stop and a sit-down throw to Morris coming over on a ball hit by Jerry Hairston, who had broken up Milt Wilcox's perfect game last year. And here we go in the 9th. Carlton Fisk, Harold Baines, and Greg Luzinski. Bob Feller, quite a few years ago, pitched a no-hitter against the White Sox on opening day. Fisk struck out, walked, and struck out again. Morris has struck out 7 while walking 5. Squirted to Bergman, right at the bag. 1 away, and now even the White Sox fans are cheering for Morris. Baines will be coming up. Baines struck out, walked, and was out on a good play by Tommy Brooken. Boy, listen to this crowd. They're alive now. 2 outs to go. Ball 1. Of the cast, the star Jack Morris, Lance Parrish behind the plate, Dave Bergman, Lou Whitaker, Alan Trammell, Tommy Brookins on the infield, Larry Herndon, Chet Lemon, and Kirk Gibson in the outfield. Comebacker knocked down by Morris, and he's got 1 out to go. He takes a little walk, and you can understand it. He doesn't want to do anything in a hurry. A good thing he flagged it. That ball might have found its way up the middle. Morris is 6'3", and here is Greg Luzinski. Wide to center, hit into a double play and walk. 1 out away from a no-hitter. Ball 1. Boy, you talk about the loneliness of a long-distance runner. How about the loneliness of a man on a mound, 1 out away from a no-hitter? And he's pressing a little bit, 2-0, trying to get a little something extra, pitching beyond beyond himself now. 2-0 the count. They are standing in the lower deck all around from first to third. Ground foul outside of third. And the count 2-1. Jack Morris, 28 years old. He'll be 29 in May. 6'3", 200-pounder, a professional since 1976, and he's been with Detroit since 1977. 2-1. And now he is one strike away. And the tension becomes somewhat excruciating even in the dugout. Deuces wild. Check swing foul. Remember, it was Luzinski with the bases loaded and nobody out in the fourth inning. Had a check swing comeback at Morris, and Jack got a double play started at the plate. He's checking the count. The count is 2-2, and the scoreboard had to be corrected. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 out, 9th inning. Jack Morris, a pitch away from a no-hitter, maybe. And he falls down. He was trying so hard. He is not pitching right now. He's throwing. The emotion has gotten to him. Who can blame him? Derwood Merrill examining the ball, and Sparky Anderson, eyes riveted on his pitcher. After Luzinski is Ron Kittle. Three and two. Ball 4, and the Tigers thought surely it was strike 3, but they might have been looking at the pitch with their hearts instead of their eyes. Watch it again. Parrish thought surely that was the game. Watch Morris. Can't believe it. But believe it he must now, as he walks his 6th batter. He has walked 6, struck out 7. Ron Kittle has popped up, struck out, flied to right, and we will have a runner coming into the game. It'll be Dave Stegman running for Luzinski. Kittle struck out with the tying runs at 2nd and 3rd, and 2 out in the 4th inning. Infield back, outfield very deep and straight away. Ball 1. The only time it appeared as if Morris was really tasting the no-hitter was when he was pitching to Luzinski, trying too hard. 1-0 to Kittle. That was a great pitch because he took something off it, and Kittle was anxious, and the change was perfectly executed. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 out, Stegman at first, running for Luzinski. 1-1. Fastball fouled away. So after the change, he came back, and again, 1 pitch. He had a 2-2 to Luzinski, and then walked him. And he is 1-2 to Kittle. Got him swinging, and he has his no-hitter.
Morris standing right here. Jack Morris. Jack, congratulations. When did you know you had it going?
Well, I don't think I've ever been through the 5th inning before without giving up a hit, and I think after the 5th inning, I sort of realized what was going on.
Did somebody tell you, or did you realize it yourself?
I looked up there. I do that now and then.
Pitching to Luzinski, you backed off the mound before you started going. Were you sizing up the situation?
Well, I knew I had 2 strikes on him, and I just wanted to give him whatever I had left, and I just went after him, and close pitch there, 3-2, but it was probably a ball.
On the 2-2 pitch, you fell. You fell right to the ground. Did you taste it so much you overthrew it?
I probably did. I think I rushed my fork ball there.
What did you think was your best pitch today?
Well, everything I do revolves around my fastball. The fork ball was real good today, and I had a pretty good slider.
Is it a fork ball or a split-fingered fastball, as Roger calls it?
You call it whatever you want. It gets the job done sometimes, and I'm really happy about it.
You really didn't have any tough plays except at first base, the one. Did you think that you had a loss at any time when the ball was hit?
Well, I think the turning point of the ball game is when I had bases loaded, nobody else there, back early part of the game, and I got the bull to ground the ball back to me and force the double play. I think that was the biggest point of the game.
Has it sunk in yet what you've done?
Not really. I'm so excited right now I can hardly talk.
Congratulations, Jack Morris. Jack Morris pitches a no-hitter, and what a way to open this season. We'll be right back after this message.
The line score tells the story, particularly the blinking 0 under the H column for the Chicago White Sox. Jack Morris pitching his no-hitter. It was challenged a couple of times, notably in the 8th inning, and an excellent defensive play by Dave Bergman bailed him out. Home run by Chet Lemon. Next week, we will see you in Yankee Stadium, where Tom Seaver goes back to New York. What a story. Don't forget the 3rd round of Dinah Shore. For Joe Garagiola, Vin Scully, wishing you a pleasant good afternoon.